But go to games, don't buy no food.
That's ridiculous.
He was literally world class. No, he was definitely world class. It's not even up for
He
debate.
desperately needed sign players.
At the right price, everyone's available.
What's going on, people? You're locked into the Football Frenzy podcast. My name's Jamie Gunnar Phillip, alongside Fazmanian Devil and Flashing Lights. How are we doing, boys? Is everyone good?
Yeah, not bad.
All right, I'm all right.
Could be better.
Okay. It's been a weekend of freak results, man. Freak results. The Prem, I don't know what it is. The defenses seem to just be going doolally at the moment. Like no one's really covering themselves in glory. I think on Sunday we saw Leicester lose 3-0. We saw Man United lose 6-1, and we saw Liverpool lose 7-2. Faz, I wanted to get your thoughts on the Man United game first.
I thought it was a good game.
Say that again?
I thought it was a good game.
You thought it was a good game?
Yeah, good viewing. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Talk us through it. Because you know what it is? You forget, that Man United actually took the lead in that game. Like, you forget that. Do you know what I mean? Like, you took the lead after what was it? You had a penalty within 40 seconds. You had a penalty and you took the lead within 2 minutes. So, and then after that, things just literally capitulated. What was your thoughts?
Listen, you know what? It was a horrible display, and you know what? It's one of the worst. It's easily Ole's worst, game as a manager that United have had, and it was just. Do you know what? There isn't really even worse to describe it. Like everything that could have went wrong in that game. But I think this is just a combination of how we've started the season. I've been saying this for a while that United just don't look fit. And I still think that United don't look fit. Like United are getting overrun by teams, and I don't think that is anything to do with a tactical thing. United are literally just getting overrun by certain things, and then compounded with that, we're letting in silly goals. Like people are making individual errors. Like Maguire probably made 3 or 4 errors in that game, where that he shouldn't be doing. Like he is an £80 million defender, and he is the captain. Like he shouldn't be doing that. Like it's just there's no excuse for any of that really. Personally, I don't think Bailly really played that bad, but I just think it was one of those things that there was not really much that he could do in it. Like it was just a shambles all over the place. Like Wan-Bissaka, since we've come back from lockdown, has looked average, in my opinion. But he's still only 21, 22. So it's not like it's the end of him. It's just I just think he's at a period where he's just having a rough patch of form for him. And Luke Shaw is pretty much the same. I think Luke Shaw, he's had some good periods since lockdown, but other than that, he hasn't been amazing. The red card, he's raised his hand, he slapped him in the face. It is a red card. My only thing, like I said in the thing, was I don't understand. I don't see why Lamela didn't also get penalised, because Lamela has actually put his elbow up into his face in the first place, which is what. It's not like he just went and slapped him for no reason, and that he's obviously just retaliated based on what's happened. So I'm surprised that VAR didn't look at it and say, you know what, they both need to go, because I think that probably would have been a fairer result. I don't think that Lamela rolling on the floor, what Martial did to Lamela didn't warrant him falling on the floor and rolling around on the floor. There's no way he should have done that, and there's no way he should have went unpunished, in my opinion.
I think just to touch on that a bit deeper. I agree with you. I don't know whether they've slightly amended the rules with that, because I saw last week what I thought was a straight red with Mane on Tierney with his very similar situation with an elbow to the face. And that got dealt with. That he got a yellow card from that. So I think it's very similar with this situation in terms of I thought both of them should have walked, and I feel as if even if you have made any slight amendments, I'm not saying that they have, to the rules, both either didn't warrant a red card or both did warrant a red card. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think what they did was very similar. There wasn't.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. Neither was worse than the other, and that this is where, for me, I still have my little bit of an issue with VAR, because I feel like VAR has been brought in to stamp out those sorts of things. Do you know what I mean? Someone's actually sat down in a studio and said and radioed over to the referee and said, yeah, but Martial's was a sending off, but don't worry about the other one. Do you know what I mean? Because remember, we're seeing on many occasions now where they're actually advising referees to go and look at the camera and make a decision for themselves. He wasn't even advised to do that. So they
different. Like what? That's I mean, I get what you're saying about like Mane and Lamela being similar, and they both came to the same result, innit? Both were yellow cards. What if you're comparing what Lamela and Martial did? They're two different things. Like, and I can get like, do you know what I get? I kind of think that both of them should have went. But then if Mane never went for his one, then Lamela shouldn't go for his. So in my opinion, they've actually done the right thing, not sending off Lamela, because then it's kept it at a level playing field, if you get what I mean.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know whether
that's a better thing.
They've amended the rules slightly, because before, if anything, it would have been vice versa. Back in the day, it would have been Lamela would have gone for the elbow, and Martial might have got a yellow card.
The only thing I can say with the elbow, with both of them, yeah, is although they both kind of hit a man in his jaw, I don't think any of them were intended as elbows. You know, you like certain elbows.
You know what though? If you look at Lamela,
that's what I mean. No. Let me finish. I think he's gone. It's gone as like a shoulder barge thing, because it's not elbow like he's not elbowed like that. It's kind of all one thing. So I think he's trying to go in at like shoulder height to move him away, and both of them just happen to hit the man in the face. I don't think. It doesn't feel like. I know. I'm just saying. And that's what they've. You've seen. I reckon that's what they're looking at now, and saying I thought they're not intentional.
It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter whether it's not intentional or not. You've elbowed a man in the face, innit?
Yeah, clearly it does matter then. Clearly it does matter why they haven't gone.
And it's off the ball. That's what I'm like. The ball's not even. It's not as if they're contesting for a ball and he's gone to shoulder barge him and like he's accidentally elbowed him. That's where I'll give the Mane one a little bit more leeway. This one, they're just it's two men in the area. Like the ball's hasn't come in yet, and he's just gone like that. Do you know what I mean? Like and he's hit him in the face. So even because really, what I'm saying is, even if that was on his arm, that could be a red card. Like it's misconduct. Do you know what I mean?
He's looked at the man and he's gone like that. That's what he's done. He's not.
I think that's a bit soft. Like, I get it. I get what you're saying, and like.
But then I think Martial's is soft then as well. Like they're both soft. If that.
Nah, Martial's is not soft. You know what? Like,
how about?
Listen. The contact is soft. Like everyone knows that. Like he's like Latin American footballers are a bit like ballerinas when they hit in it. Like they're gonna roll around, blah blah blah. We know that. And like it's South American culture when they play football. But the bottom line with Martial's is, regardless of how you hit him, that was an intentional face, isn't it? Like you can't like the intent there.
The reason why Martial got sent off is because Lamela rolled on the floor. If Martial rolled on the floor when Lamela elbowed him, Lamela would have got sent off. Done. Yeah. Like he would have. Do you know what I mean?
I think that would.
Like the thing is, yeah.
That's what it is, and that's where the lack of consistency is. Because for me, I suppose from a certain point of view, I'm kind of old school. I like to see a man stand up and like, if it hasn't hurt you, there's no point in you rolling around on the floor. Is what I'm getting.
I think he still would have went either way. I think he like.
But then at the same time, that's exactly what Jose Mourinho would have told them to do. He would have. This is the whole good guys don't win, bad guys win.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And where Jose Mourinho has managed some of those players, I wouldn't be surprised if he said, "Yeah, target this one. He'll lose his head."
Lash out, yeah, it's true.
Like, and it might not necessarily have been Martial that he said to target, but I'm pretty sure Jose would have had a word with certain players and said, "Yeah, like when you're in the box and you're in and around them, do you know what I mean? Get in his head. He'll lose his head." And then I wouldn't be surprised if Jose gave Lamela a pat on the back after that. I wouldn't be surprised.
100% he would have.
Thing in it. That is his thing in it. He's all about that kind of stuff. That kind of.
But saying that. Sorry to cut you first, because we've spent a lot of time on the red. Let's talk more about the game itself. Saying that, this is where I don't think Ole cuts it, because I think another manager, as soon as you go down to 10 men, 2-1 down, home or away, regardless, he's shutting up shop. You like to then go on and concede 6 goals is 4 goals after that is inexcusable. Do you know what I mean? Like you shouldn't be for immediately after that red card. the next goal that you scored was a result of you lot trying to play out from the back. Do you know what I mean? Like for me, you shut up shop. You say, all right, cool. Like this game's gonna be a loss now. It's damage limitation. And even if you don't want to do it at 2-1 because you're kind of in the game and you're at Old Trafford, I understand that. Once it gets to 3-4-1, bro, accept the loss and damage limitation.
I hear what you're saying with that, but I think a lot of managers don't necessarily do that anyway. Like you got to think, yeah, like you could say the same for City conceding 5 last week. Like Pep at no point went defensively. Like you could talk about like Liverpool conceding 7. Like there's at no point. Sorry,
they went down to 10. They went down to 10 men.
No, but either way, when you're conceding that many goals, like something's got to change in it. And sometimes people just don't want to change the way they play in it. Like I personally think he should have done that. I think he should have probably tried to shut up shop a little bit. And in the second half, he did, because he took off Bruno and he took off Matic, and he brought on Fred and McTominay, who are obviously less creative players and more defensive to try and shore up the midfield. And that was only at half time, it was 4-1, and we still managed to concede 2 more anyway. So it was just, I think, like, while he didn't do it instantly, he did still try and change the way that things were going, innit? Like, so it's hard to, like, he basically had, 20 odd minutes or so after the red cards. I think it might be like 20 minutes
15, about 15.
Yeah, maybe 15 minutes.
28 minutes.
Yeah. So at the point, his thing was probably, okay, cool. Like, we've had the red card. Let's see if we can get up to half time, and then like let's change things and try and consolidate things. Maybe it took too long. Maybe that was 15 minutes too long. But like he did try and change something, and that he did bring on like more defensive players to try and short the game, but it just didn't work. Like, so it's not like he thought, oh, like cool, let's just start throwing on attackers and we're gonna try and go for it. Like he did actually try and like close up the game. It just didn't work.
I hear that.
You can really blame Ole for that.
No, I still do kind of blame Ole, to be honest, because I've seen situations where you don't wait until halftime. You're not playing against a team like way down the table. You're playing against a team that is a direct rival of yours, and they have players like Kane and Son who are banging form coming into that game. Like I've seen managers, as soon as a player gets sent off, they hook off an attacking player and bring in a defensive one there and then before play even resumes. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the type of stuff. Instead of waiting until half time, because now the game's completely gone. Do you know? I feel like Arteta did it with Arsenal against Chelsea. When we went down to 10 men, David Luiz got sent off. He immediately hooked off like it was like Pepe or Lacazette or someone. And then
but the difference is you lot had a defender come off, so you need to replace another defender by taking off an attacker. We had an attacker come off. So having an attacker come off, you still got your defenders in place anyway. So in theory,
that he had no more defenders.
You don't need to add a defender in theory. So like again, that's what I'm saying. So maybe he thought for the next 10-15 minutes, like maybe like these lot should be able to try and hold it, and then at halftime we'll bring in some midfield reinforcements and we'll see.
He probably. That's what
I'm saying. I understand why he did it, innit?
Yeah, I don't think you can really say much about what he did there, and I think everyone was like shell shocked when it happened that all the goals just came like. After that, I think the United players are probably still stunned by like the red card. Like the goals, like 2 of the goals were like after the red card, and like I said, with it being an attacking player, that's what you would have did anyway. Because if it was a defender, it would have been Martial that dragged and throw on like a Lindelof or someone anyway. So you still end up playing in a similar way, just obviously to defend. And then he's tried to make he tried to solidify the result by putting in 2 more defensive-minded midfielders for Pogba and Bruno. I don't think you can blame Ole for that game. Like,
I think you can blame him in terms of the overall picture, because going down to 10 men is not a new thing. We saw Chelsea.
No. I still don't think.
Against Liverpool, Arsenal's gone down to 10 men against Liverpool, Chelsea, various different teams, Man City. You don't see them capitulate like that. Like looking at that game yesterday, a lot of the players seem to not care. Even after when I saw when the final whistle blew and Ole came on the pitch, he was like laughing and joking with some of the Tottenham players and all of that. Like it seemed as if what has just happened wasn't that big a deal. Do you know what I mean? Like when really the magnitude of what's just happened, like. If it wasn't Ole, that could have been a sack. If that's Jose, maybe he gets sacked for that, you know? Do you know what I mean? Like at Old Trafford, 6-1, like that. We've seen managers get sacked for results like that. Do you know what I mean? Like
that's usually after it's built up for a little while.
Yeah, I think
not just on the back of one result. Once it's built up for like a little while, like you've lost a couple of games, and then you get a big one. Then that's when you usually see something go.
Either way, they didn't seem like they really absorbed the gravitas of the situation of losing 6-1 at Old Trafford. It didn't look like it was like, wow, we've just lost 6-1 at Old Trafford.
Maybe.
It
But
didn't
like
look
I said,
like that.
like what I'm saying, no, I think tactically, I can't blame Ole for what happened in the game. Is what I mean. I like with what happened in the red card and them not defending very well afterwards. I just don't think they can defend very well anyway. Like a lot of what happened in that game and their goals are just defensive errors. Like it's individual errors, like calamitous errors. I don't think that's something you can really blame the manager for. You can maybe blame him for the personnel that he's put on the pitch or personnel that he's brought in, but like tactically or like him managing the game, I don't think you can really put him at blame. Maybe for the way he's coached the players or whatever, you can probably like blame him for that. Like that game wasn't. That game was just a load of shambolic defending. It was like just a load of errors. Like Luke Shaw is, for me, like Luke Shaw's not great. Like he got from him. Like Harry Maguire was tackling Luke Shaw for like the first goal. Like I was throwing himself everywhere. Like they're all individual stuff. It weren't really where the goals came from.
Fad,
I don't think it's Ole's fault. I don't think that game is Ole's fault.
No.
Faz, where do you think United go from here, really? Like, because by the looks of things, I know we'll get into the transfer window later, but by the looks of things, with all of an hour and a half to go, you're not going to bring in any more defensive signings other than the left back. So you're going to persevere now with Maguire and Lindelof for Bailly, right? Like, where do you think you go from here? You also have an attack. I don't think. Go on.
What do you mean, defensively, or what are you asking? Exactly?
Defensively, at the moment, has any of your front three scored yet? Has Martial scored?
Martial hasn't scored. Rashford scored, obviously, against Brighton. Greenwood only played this game. In the last game, he didn't play the first game, I think. Because Dan James played, didn't it? Dan James.
One goal.
So
that one for the three of them.
So you what do you think? Are you? Because I remember asking you last week after the Brighton game. I don't know if it was on air, whether it was in a group chat. But it would have been in a group chat because it was directly after the game. And I said, like, are you concerned? And you said, I'm not. Like, I'll be concerned if at the end of the window we haven't brought in any defensive signings. And you also said, if we continue to play poorly but get 3 points, I'll take that. I said I'd be very concerned because you got to look at that Brighton game. That was like a smash and grab. They hit the bar all across all the posts 5 times.
Oh, I know that.
You know what I mean?
I know that, but like, of course, like that goes without saying. If we're gonna pick up 3 points and we're gonna win, like, but we're not playing well, then of course, like any football fan will take that. So that makes sense. But like, in terms of where we go from here, like I think there's a 2-week international break. Like obviously they've got a few players in, and this is now Ole's chance to now like work with that backline and just figure out exactly what he wants to do. Like for me, I still think that this whole Maguire thing that happened over in Greece, I think that's massively affected him. Like he's been, like, he wasn't amazing before like after lockdown or anything, but he wasn't anywhere near as bad as he has been this season. Like since this new season started, he's been all over the place. So like, and you know what? Like I don't obviously going to court and being in like trouble with the police and things like that can affect you, like especially when it's not like it's something that nobody knows about it. Like this is worldwide news and it's everywhere. So like I honestly think that's probably affecting him. I think he needs time out of the team, and Ole just needs to bring somebody else in. I think he needs time out of the team.
So Bailly and Lindelof be your
Lindelof, and then obviously after the break, Tuanzebe's fit anyway, so whether he plays him, because to be perfectly honest, before Tuanzebe got injured last year, Tuanzebe was supposed to start against Liverpool last season, and then he got injured and he's been out for the whole season. So like the plan, what I had read and what I'd heard was that Tuanzebe was to be Maguire's partner. So whether or not he is the guy or he's good enough to come in and do that job. Obviously he did very well at Aston Villa when he was there. Like they love him. He was like their best centre back at the time. So like whether or not he's come on enough, and that's the next route, or whether or not he wants to play Bailly and Lindelof, or like he'll have to do something out of that lot. But I'm more concerned about the team performances rather than like just the defensive performances, because I don't think that we're really holding on to like the midfield. We're not really controlling the midfield or anything like that at the moment. And like I said, the players just don't really look fit. Like they don't look like they've come back yet. They look like they're playing preseason games at the moment. And yeah, I just think it will take them a couple of weeks to get back to where they're supposed to be, and they need games.
Do you think this international break has come at the right time for you? Like, in terms of, you know, everyone go away, do your thing, hopefully get a few wins under the belt with your national teams, come back with a bit more confidence, or would you have preferred everyone to have stayed together?
I'm not, I'm never really a big fan of the international breaks anyway, like especially when you've lost a game, because that lingers for 2 weeks. Like, and yeah, they might go away and certain players might have good performances with their teams and win games and stuff like that and come back with a little bit of confidence. But I think really, like, they need like most of the team at Carrington just training and working on whatever it is they need to work on, getting some form of a preseason and figuring out what his plan is, isn't it? Because I don't think that they've had enough time, like between the end of their last season and the beginning of this season. I don't think they've had enough time where he's, you know, let's say for example, he wants to try certain things out defensively. Like, they've not had time to play. Like, our only preseason game was against Aston Villa, and half of our team didn't even play because they weren't back from holiday yet. So the 3 games that we've had in the Premier League, and obviously the little Carabao Cup games that we've had, are the only games that we've had to actually like implement plans. And at the same time, he's been trying to give fringe players game time as well. So it's like, it's not like he's been throwing out his first team and saying, oh, boom, like, we're going to work on this in this game. Like, it's just, I just don't think they've had enough time. But I think we'll come back, and I reckon it will probably still take a couple of weeks after we come back in a few more games. But I think United will start to.
That's rough though. Because I've just had a quick look at your fixtures. I would say your next fixture away to Newcastle must win, because after that you've got PSG in the Champions League, you've got Chelsea in the Premier League, you've got RB Leipzig in the Champions League, you've got Arsenal in the Premier League, you've got another Champions League game against Istanbul, and then you've got Everton, who right now are flying. But maybe by then, who knows what they'll be saying. But right now they're flying. Do you know what I mean? So to say that if you still think it's going to take a couple of weeks, you ain't really got that. You could find yourself in a perilous position.
But it'd be stupid of me to say, yeah, it's going to be 2 weeks, and then boom, they're going to hit the ground running and start smashing people. I genuinely think, that's what I'm saying. I genuinely think it will take another month of games before you start seeing United hit the levels that they're expecting to be at. That's what I think personally.
Fair.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I know that there are going to, like, we're almost guaranteed to lose more games in this period. Like, that's a given, but that's just how it's going to happen.
Now, you're without Martial. Well, I suppose Cavani's come in, but like, you're without Martial for
3 games.
Man United, Chelsea, and Arsenal. Because you missed his 3 games.
Newcastle.
Yeah, Newcastle. Yeah. Was it just 1 he misses?
No, he misses 3.
No, I mean, like, Newcastle. Not you said.
Yeah, you said Man United. Yeah, he misses Newcastle, Arsenal, and Chelsea, innit?
No, Newcastle, Chelsea, and Arsenal, yeah. Lights, is there anything you want to say before we move on? Because I know we're pressed for time now.
Nah, not really. I just don't. I'm not. You know what? I know there's a lot of hype about United when they finish 3rd, and that they should probably on them finish 3rd. But I don't think with United. I don't know if they're in a good enough position. I think even what you've been saying, I think their defense is a lot worse than it seemed like it was last year. Like, because of their defensive record, I think it looked better than what it was. And I think with the way that it's going at the moment and going for it, I feel like they might struggle. I don't know if Oli will be able to turn this around, especially having.
I don't think he lost the season. Especially
having your best centre back, who, regardless of what people think about Maguire, he was their best centre back last year. In at the moment. The way he's playing, and because he is the leader out of the bunch, if he's not playing well, the rest of the men next to him are not going to be playing well. Like, their level starts to dip. So, like, that's going to be an issue for me, because you haven't got anyone else that's going to lead and like Maguire. Maguire is in state that he's in at the moment, and he's himself up from this, I think the defense as a whole will be an issue for like a long period. Like he's gonna need to raise his performance. Like stuff he's doing now, we all know that he's not quickest, man. He gets beaten by him.
Your signal's cutting. Your signal's cutting in and out.
Yeah, like we know he's not we know he's not the quickest, and every now and then like a quick player will beat him. But the stuff that he's doing now are just like mistakes, like silly stuff. He needs, if he don't sort himself out, and the defense don't sort himself out, he might be in problems this year. To be fair.
Well, we'll see, shall we?
I suppose. Huh?
I guess we'll see.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I suppose we should wrap up the Man United topic and move on to the other freak weekend.